happy Halloween. This video is a little late as I was busy stealing millions of dollars worth of monkey art. As I said a few weeks back, this one will be the Halloween special. But you didn't expect me to actually play a spooky game, right? Or, you know, release the video on time. Pumpkin Jack is a 3D platformer with a hint of spook and a dash of scare. Development started in late 2016 by one lone Frenchman and published by Head Up Games, known primarily for the Bridge Constructor series. This game has you take control of the Pumpkin Lord himself as he goes on a wild adventure around the globe, killing creatures, collecting loot and busting some moves. The base gameplay is very simple. You make your way through 6 levels, each one with a new environmental look. These levels have you fight a wide cast of monsters and humans, going through some platforming sections, collecting crow skulls in order to buy new outfits, discovering gramophones in order to bust a move, and play through a collection of fun and sometimes infuriating minigames. These include using your disembodied head to hit some levers, committing domestic terrorism, riding a minecart, riding a horse, riding a boat, remembering colors, this terrible kart racing challenge, vandalizing graveyards, killing Santa Claus, and sacrificing children to the Dark Lord. Only one of those is a joke. All of these are incredibly varied, making it so that you never get bored of the base game loop. Not that you really have much of a chance to do so, as it's only about 4 hours long, or 3 hours and 13 minutes if you know what you're doing. Beat that, you fucking frog! Each one of the levels concludes in a boss fight, everyone with their own varied moveset and expressive designs. The game's graphics are incredibly vibrant and colorful, maybe a little too vibrant sometimes. Sound design is okay across the board, and the score, made by Johan Yager, has a few bangers in there. Our story begins with Jack falling out of the sky, contracted by the devil himself in order to kill the sorcerer and wipe out the rest of humanity. We muck about for a bit and learn how to jump, climb, and dodge roll. We talk to an assortment of birds before busting some moves, finding a shovel and whacking some ghouls before entering a barn and smacking some levers where I forget that I have the double jump for an embarrassing amount of time. A little later we commit some arson before getting to our first boss fight of the game. The second level sees us travel to a haunted mine where we get to try out our pointy stick on some fluorescent Caspers. We jump our way across the destroyed tracks before committing domestic terrorism, followed by our first cart ride. We do all of this for a second time, buy something from the item shop and face off against Phantom, the game's second boss. He does some slams, does some zooming and shoots a laser beam. We throw some bombs at him until he ceases to exist and we receive a talking sword as a reward, who insults us every 3 seconds. We're then confronted by the evil sorcerer who tells us we'll never get access to his vault of V-Bucks. The third level sees us travel to a spooky swamp where we talk to the shifty crack dealer who requires us to collect a variety of shrooms for him. If at all possible, avoid touching the water. After doing some time-based platforming, we have to play this minigame where we have to hit these shrooms in the correct order. I have the memory of a goldfish, so this was quite challenging. Our reward is getting to LARP as Arthur Morgan for a few minutes. A little later we run into the strange man once more, who tells us that the shroom from before wasn't quite as potent as he wanted. We do the same thing again, but this time with a longer sequence. A little later we meet Johan, ferryman of the underworld, and also the biggest asshole in this game, as he needlessly sinks and spins the boat around like it's fucking hurricane season. We then arrive to a spooky forest. Don't try to explore too much as it will likely end badly. After making it through the tree maze, we meet the shroomer's wife, who turns out to be not the most trustworthy person. They need one more ingredient for their dinner and turns out it's my juicy pumpkin head. We chase after them on our trusty steed, arriving at their house where it turns out that they're a couple of tree-loving liberals. So, we systematically destroy them with facts, logic and explosives before beating them to death with our shovel. The fourth level sees us travel to Skeletown, one of the last settlements with still living humans, and we can't be having that. After being mocked by that sorcerer again, we have to collect some planks in order to build a siege tower. We scale the walls and fight against some of the knights, who are immune to crow damage. Jack busts some moves before committing some more war crimes. A bit later we come across these 3 clowns, who challenge us to a degenerate version of Mario Kart. I'll be completely honest, this is the one and only minigame that has ever made me physically sweat. You're required to steer using the arrow keys, while hitting the spacebar repeatedly to speed up the cart. However, this alone is not enough to win the race. You also have to use the crow's attack by using right click on your mouse in order to stun your opponents, meaning that you either need 3 hands or have an astronomical amount of luck, preferably even both. After several attempts, I finally managed to slip my way past the finish line. After committing some more domestic terrorism, taking another boat ride, and playing some whack-a-mole, we have another kart race. Fuck! I however luck out as the knights never spawned in, netting me with an easy dub. I'll fucking take it. We arrived at this very inconspicuous boss arena where we come across Dor, the king of the monsters. He's completely immune to our attacks and can only be damaged when he attacks the explosive filled siege towers, which he happily does, 9 times actually. The 5th level sees us head to a graveyard where we come across this man of questionable stature. He tasks us with modifying some nearby graveyards. We make it to a destroyed cathedral and talk to the Architect of Hell, who tells us that he'll help us out, but only if we do something for him first, because video game. He tasks us with destroying the 7 deadly sins. Some of these have a bit of a unique twist to them. Greed makes you pay crow skulls in order to reach it, and Envy's area is littered with fake ones. The final boss of this level is Gluttony, who turns out to be a demon made out of stomach acid, armed with a knife and fork. After defeating it, the Architect opens up a portal for us, allowing us to chase the sorcerer to the final level. The final level sees us travel to the north, where we face off against sentient snowmen, razor-sharp Christmas trees, and Santa Claus? Sure, why not? So, we fight our way through some decorated villages, make use of some very colorful magic, commit more domestic terrorism before fighting Santa, who you defeat by throwing the correct packages back at him until his bar is fully charged. I for the life of me can't figure out in what way the physics work, as they sometimes fly in a completely random direction. I become a professional arsonist before taking our final boat, fighting Santa again before facing off against the great sorcerer himself. This is also the only actually difficult part of the game that doesn't border on literal RNG. Lightning strikes, tornadoes, electricity walls, and my own incompetence really made this quite the boss fight. It never felt like I was getting fucked over on purpose though. After dodging all of his attacks, he'll begin charging up
the big one,
destroy his 4 pillars, and beat the ever-living shit out of him until he drops dead. Congrats, Jack now rules the world and we ruined Christmas, all in a day's work. The end credits are accompanied by behind the scenes and earlier builds of the game, and looking at what it started as, I'm quite impressed with the final results. So, is this game worth it? Yes and no actually. While it is a very fun experience to go through it for a quick run, there isn't really much to go back to after your initial playthrough, besides maybe cleaning up collectibles that you missed. But if you care about that, chances are you already used a guide for those. It's also very short for a €30 price tag. It is currently 60% off during the winter sale, so if you were thinking of picking it up, I'd suggest doing it now. 7.5 jack-o'-lanterns out of 10. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. So, to answer the burning question that's on your mind, what is the upload schedule? There is no upload schedule. Welcome to all the subs over the last month. We crossed into the 70s and I'm quite happy about it. Next video will be the Wolfenstein Youngblood review. That should be out in January. If you enjoyed, leave a like and maybe even drop a sub. As always, I wish you all the best. I've been Xaniverse. Till next time. Oh yeah, and happy holidays.